Hello, viewers. I hope you're taking good care of yourself. Let's get started with our second lesson of UAE SST from Book 2 of Grade 8 River, Seaways, and Canal Transportation. Here we have the learning objectives to describe the major river systems, lakes, and canals of North America. UAE Link. UAE has a large network of water transportation within the country and overseas. The CC Link Economics. Water transportation is said to be one of the cheapest amongst all the means of transportation. Cargo ships carry bulky goods at reasonable freight charges, thereby making goods available at reasonable prices to the customers. Here we have a question from the textbook for class discussion. Why were rivers and canals important for economic development in the past? Discuss and write notes. This is what I could understand by the question. I wrote the answer. You can add some more points of your own. The Mississippi River of the Midwest. Indigenous people of Americas. Indigenous are the Native Americans. Used rivers of American continent to fish, travel, and trade goods. Some of these native tribes are identified by anthropologists as the mound cultures that thrived from around 3500 BCE to around 1600 CE. When I say a mound culture, that means you can see in a picture over here, the image shows you a high raised platform. So on this high raised platform, they built the homes, the temples, the administrative buildings, and so on. They built great cities of earth mounds along the Mississippi and Ohio rivers where they traded. At Cahokia, Illinois, there is evidence of about 120 earth mounds on which homes, temples, and administrative centers were built. At its peak, the city housed as many as 10,000 to 15,000 people, making it the largest city in the territory of what is now the US until about the 18th century. What comes to my mind is why was this mound culture so common in those days along the banks of the Mississippi and Ohio rivers? Maybe because of the flooding. The rivers are usually in floods on certain seasons of the year. So, to protect themselves, their houses, their temples, their administrative centers, this culture was getting so common over there. So let us see the commercial goods were transported through the river systems of the United States. One route along the Ohio River towards the Mississippi River system connects the northernmost state of Minnesota to the port city of New Orleans on the Gulf of Mexico. In the late 18th and the early 19th century, a system of canals added to naturally occurring waterways. The Erie Canal in New York State and the Chesapeake Canal in Maryland connected inland areas with major cities along the east coast of the United States. So over here we have the canals. The canals are actually man-made and they are either joining the two rivers, the two seas, or it could be the oceans. So, canals are actually very useful for joining two big water bodies. The introduction of the steamboats and how these steamboats had made the lives of the people easier, especially the transportation of the goods from one part of the country to the other part. So, by the 19th century, goods could be transported against the currents and upriver by steamboats. So, they were no more dependent on the sails or on the movement of the winds, but now they had the steamboats, which were powered by the engines were powered by the steam. This allowed major cities to grow. Much of the increased transportation was needed to move cotton along with other southern products to textile mills in the cities of the northeast. That means northeast were too flourishing with different kinds of textile mills. So the cotton which was needed was provided by the southern region. That means the southern region of America was good in the production of cotton. In the products from the northern cities, such as the animals, meat, food, clothing, and manufactured goods, were then sent to the markets in the south. So, this is what is a give and take relationship between the north and the south of America. Here comes activity 2. This is again from your textbook. You can go through and you can see the answers over here. Activity 3, again from your textbook. Please go through. I have written down the answers looking into the map over given over there. The Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence River. I've put up one map over here. It becomes easy for you to look at these five Great Lakes. One of the North America's great features are its Great Lakes, a series of large lakes that border eastern Canada and the United States. These lakes are deposits from the melting about 14,000 years ago of the glacial period or the ice age. So where did they get the water? They got the water from the melting glaciers. These lakes are connected and flow downward, feeding the St. Lawrence River that passes through the province of Ontario in Canada and through Quebec. On the southern shores of the Great Lakes is the United States, where the states of Minnesota, which you can see it in the map, then comes the Wisconsin, then the Illinois, the Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and New York share borders. Here we have activity 4. I've written down the answer over here. You can go through. Activity 5 is very much from your textbook, and it is actually the straightforward answers. We are supposed to match it, but they have actually matched for us, and you have it with the answers. So I've just done 3. There are 5 given over there. It is from your textbook only. You can just read it and learn the answers from there. The Panama Canal. You can see the map over here, which gives you a clear view and a better understanding. Early explorers of the American wanted to find a shipping route that could go from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. So they wanted to connect the two huge big oceans which were flowing at either side of the continent. At the time, the only reliable shipping route took ships south of the Magellan, straight at the tip of the South America and up the Pacific Ocean. So this part of the journey took weeks or months depending on the weather. Now, how did this need for the Panama Canal grew? So this was the major reason, and that's the reason they come up with this man-made Panama Canal. It was so difficult that during the 17th and 18th centuries, the Spanish chose to move goods overland for part of the journey. That means they couldn't just continue on the sea route, but then they had to take the goods from the sea, then go to the land, and then to the sea again. What a hassle it was. So they unloaded the goods at the port of Veracruz on Mexican side of the Caribbean Sea, transported the goods across the Mexico overland, then loaded again at the Acapulco, Mexico. From there, the goods were shipped on to Manila in the Spanish colony of the Philippines. So I think the Panama Canal is a great, great blessing because you don't need to take the goods, load it, then unload it, again load it, put it back into the sea. That was really a hassle. So at one go, you just from one ocean, you can sail into the other ocean with the help of this Panama Canal. The 1869 of the Suez Canal. So this was the time when Suez Canal was completed. The French engineers who built it began plans in 1881 to construct a similar canal across the narrow isthmus of Panama. At first, difficult tropical conditions and diseases stalled. That means it stopped the construction. but then it was later restarted again in 1904. Over 10 more years, construction teams dig the canal through the tropical landscape and mountains to connect the two oceans. So it is the two oceans, that is the Atlantic and the Pacific Ocean. So these two oceans got then connected with each other with the help of this canal. Because the canal cuts through the mainland of Panama, it is about 26 meters higher than the ocean level. The ships must be raised up and then back down through the system of locks. Panama Canal is still holding great strategic importance to the ships sailing from the Atlantic to the Pacific Ocean and vice versa. Here comes the activity 6. It is again from your textbook. You can go through the answer. Hello, viewers. So, I hope you're taking good care of yourself. Let's get started with our second lesson of. So, I come to the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching my channel named Learn SST. If you really liked it, then please give me a like. Share it with your friends and your classmates. And see you next time with my new video. Till then, take very good care of yourself. Bye bye.